BGSU Falcon Weekly. I'm Evan Pivnick, joined by the head coach of the Bowling Green Falcons, Chris Bergeron. Coach, thanks for joining me first of all. This past weekend, able to get 2 wins, but both the games a little bit tighter than you wanted to see.
No, I knew they were both going to be tight. I mean, the bottom line is we got the results we were looking for. I mean, we'll go back to work in terms of our process like we always do. I don't think it was great either night, especially in a couple of areas. One being not creating enough offense, 5-on-5, and 2, our discipline. You know, we just were not disciplined enough, whether it be with our actions, with our game plan, with our, definitely our mouths. And we had a couple of issues, one each night with a penalty based on saying something to the referee. So we really want to do a better job of being disciplined and finding a way to create more offense, especially 5-on-5.
Saturday, he was able to come back from 2 goals. What is the difference from last year's team to this year's team when it comes to resiliency? Is there a bigger factor this year? Do you see a big change?
I don't see a big change in that with us. I mean, last year we had the lead more than we've ever had before, and that showed itself at times where a lead was turned into a tie or a tie would turn into a loss. This year we found a way to, for the most part, take a deficit and find a way to get back in the game or win the game and play well with the lead. There's exceptions. Obviously, Saturday night at Bemidji, we had a lead. We weren't able to keep it. Ohio State comes to mind at home. But I think it's been part of the process from the day we got here until now. The first 3 years we got used to playing from behind, which I don't want to say it's easy because it's not easy, but we got good at it because we were behind all the time. Last year we got tested a lot more and showed some inexperience playing with the lead. This year I think we've had the lead more than we haven't. This past weekend we didn't have the lead, and we did show that when we get painted into a corner we fight pretty hard, and I thought that's what we did both nights.
This past weekend, 2 players that really stand out to me, Matt Polkamp and Ben Murphy, that themselves a nice weekend. Matt Polkamp, not so much on the score sheet, but effort-wise, still had pretty good weekend.
Yeah, Matt, we'll start with Matt. I mean, he's a guy that prides himself on the effort. And, he may not be all over the score sheet. He's up there. I think he's in the top couple or tied with a bunch of guys or whatever. But he's been a huge part of our penalty kill. Obviously, we've had a pretty good penalty kill all year long. And, he's just a guy that plays the game the right way when he's on. And this past weekend he was on. Ben Murphy's a guy that has lots of offensive ability, and what we've tried to help him with since he got here was his play without the puck and his second and third effort on pucks. And the pass he made to DeSalvo on Saturday night, that was just a second and third effort play on a puck. The goal he scored Friday night was a second and third effort where he just wouldn't stop, and their guy kind of quit on the play a little bit, and Ben got rewarded for it. So it's nice to see 2 guys like that care as much as they do get rewarded.
Goaltending this past weekend, Tommy Burke got back-to-back starts for the first time for him since November at Alaska. When you see a goalie go back-to-back, is there something that the night before, maybe not seeing enough shots, or just the way they overall perform?
This past Saturday, the conversations were more based on Tommy than it was on Dell or Scholl. I mean, it wasn't as much as they didn't deserve to play, but Tommy deserved to play as well. And he did only have 19 shots Friday night. Maybe think he was crazy, overworked. And, we obviously believe in Chris Nell, and Scholl is somebody we hasn't played in a little bit. So it's a little bit different of a situation with Thomas. But, again, the focus was more based on Tommy than it was the other 2. And, let's see how he does back-to-back. By no means have we said we're going to ride one guy. There's still way too much hockey to play to start talking in those terms yet. But we try to take it one day at a time, and that's what we did. He played well Friday. He deserved to play Saturday, so we started him Saturday.
2 more games this weekend at Ferris State. Already had 2 under your belt at home. It's nice to see that rivalry kind of ignite from the CCHA into the WCHA.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this all week long, that rivalry to me is 2 teams that compete against each other at a high level. I know we look at Ferris State as a rival. They're a program we want to be. The last 3 or 4 years, their results have been outstanding. In particular, coach has been there longer than 3 or 4 years, but you look at the last 3 or 4 years, and obviously the last 2 years in the WCHA, they've been a really strong team. And we want to be that. We want to be in the national tournament conversation, and they've been that. So we look at them as a program we'd like to be like, and we've had some playoff series and some good games against them, so you look at them as a rival. I hope we're earning that respect from them and they look at us as a rival, but it's something that I can tell you this, when you play somebody 4 times in a row, whether there's a rivalry or not, there's going to be one. And there was some crusty at the end of the game both nights and during the game both nights anyway. And I think you'll see the same thing this weekend.
Now, going into this weekend, you saw this team ready twice. Is anything stand out to you to kind of work on a bit going into this weekend?
Yeah, we need to create more offense. CJ Mott is a guy that is really, really good. And when you only get 19 shots on him or whatever it was, something like that, it's not enough. And that's a tribute to the way they defend for sure. But we have to be more disciplined so we're 5-on-5 more of the time. That's where it has to start. And then secondly, we just need to execute at a higher level. There was plays to be made out there, in particular on the offensive side of things, that I don't think we did a very good job of making them and executing them. And this coming up weekend, we're going to have to do a much better job. On the road, the bounces tend to go the other way. And we're going to need to give ourselves a bunch of opportunities on this goaltender who's really good.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. Best luck this weekend, and thanks again for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.